country today is made up of thousands of small towns and cities, and our cities that we have today have started off as small towns. And I think it's very important that we know the importance of the small cities that we have in our country because they are the heart, and our country is made up of small towns. So I want to talk about the small town that I live in, and it's called Noster. Noster. Go ahead and laugh because it is a funny name. And it's a funny place too, and it's fun when you get to know people and find out great things about it, which is why I want to tell you about it today. Noster actually has a meaning in Latin. Nav means hill, and Noster means hour. And so when you put it all together, it means our hill. There are two legends that I found about it, within reference of that being from nownostergov.com. That is where I found that information. Um, One legend stated that the two hills, one being north of Mount Noster and one being south of Mount Noster, um, one legend states that we had a battle here in the area of Mount Noster, and those hills were made in order for those to be resting, burial grounds for those who lost their lives in that battle. The second battle, the second legend was about being burial grounds for Indians that we had in the area. And you know what? I do kind of believe that because we do have one major Indian family here around here, and I was actually friends with a lot of them in high school. But I have not found any dates or any facts on that. Like it's a legend, so it's been by word of mouth and passed down. Uh, I looked and they really didn't find any proof of that either. All they found was skeletal remains and ancient relics. Uh, the birth date that I found being with history being recorded in Namnaster is from 1850 when the post office was first built. Uh, the Namnaster that I'm sitting in today was not the Namnaster that was back then. Namnaster was actually built further up north, and Namnaster was relocated as far as the people in the settlement that were around because the post office was their means of media. They didn't have Facebook and cell phones and computers and all that things that we used to communicate with each other. It wasn't that easy. So their post office was their means. So they all decided to move here and relocate. Uh, they also built train tracks here, so it was their way to get around the country because they didn't, not everybody had a car or anything like that, and horses aren't as fast as airplanes. So being near a train and a train station, train tracks is a lot easier as well, and so they relocated to this area. We are actually living on grounds that were owned by a man named Sam Worthing, and it's about 40 acres where we started building up Knob Noster around here. Um, the town that we have, it was we when we built it up on 40 acres. When I say we, I mean the people of Namnoster because I'm not from here, but I mean I claim it. It's not a horrible place or anything, but Namnoster was built here, like I said, on the train tracks. And 2 years later, after it was built, everything burned down. There was a big fire, and all the buildings were burned down, and they were rebuilt back up into the buildings that we actually have today. Currently, according to Wikipedia, searching surrounding areas of Whiteman, we have 2,800 people here in Namnaster, 52% of them being males and the rest being females. Uh, most of the personnel are farmers, merchants, and a lot of them came from Whiteman Air Force Base. And I'll tell you a little more about them. Um, we are 60 miles east of Kansas City, and there are other major communities nearby where we have people living around here that are, coming from those communities. We have Sedalia, that's 19.2 miles east of Knob Noster, so it's about a 25-minute drive when you're driving the speed limit, because I speed sometimes. But yes, it's a pretty big community, and it is kind of a college community. Sedalia's community, State Fair Community College is located there, which is their main campus. So they have a lot of college students there. And we also have another college community that is 10 miles west of Noster, and they have the University of Central Missouri located there, where they're a bigger college town, where their town is, centralized on the University of Missouri, Central Missouri, excuse me, that's a different school. Um, and they're the Red Mules. So we have Sedalia, we have Warrensburg, and we have Whiteman Air Force Base. That was built there in 1942, where it was first called the Sedalia Glider Air Force Base. The name was changed because there was a man, he had died doing great things for the Air Force, and in honor of him, his last name being Whiteman, they decided to name it after him, so they named it Whiteman Air Force Base. Um, the mission of Whiteman, it's brought a lot of people there, a lot of families when they helped build up Noster as a community. I mean, it hasn't always been that big. Noster Apartments and Whiteman Estates, they have not always been here. Noster was its own town with, just its farmers and its merchants and people that came through here. Um, And so the relationship between the base and Noster, the ties are very tight. The mayor has ties with the commander, and that he shows up at every event, according to NomNosterDove.com. Excuse me, I'm trying to remember my sources here. I don't want to say anything wrong, but yes. We actually have a lot of tourists that come here as well. Not everybody, in the U.S., we all have some kind of, personal set on a military base or a military background. Some people actually come here to see, like a few years ago, Dick Cheney came here, and a lot of people came to actually see him talk when we were all out on the flight line. So we actually have a lot of tourists that come here to Noster and the base as well. We actually have a few things that people come to see. We have Montserrat. It's on the western side of Noster, where they have their beautiful vineyards, and you could come and look. And it's a nice little family business between Kelly Franklin and Dr. Weinberger. Alexa Franklin used to be my best friend, and she's their daughter. I went to school with her at Noster High School. They had a great big history. It's on the web